welcome to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. Did you miss me? I hope so. I missed you. We've been off the air for 2 months, but we're back. That's right, the Peak News is back. And we're here to say the quiet stuff out loud, this time even louder, with 2.0. We begin today, September 30th, 2024, our second season of The Peak. And if you've seen our studio, we're actually live streaming right now. This is the first time that we've done this. There's a lot of new things in Peak 2.0. That's why we went away for a while to put all of those things in place. We're still putting them in place, but we went away to put them all in place. And so we're starting to roll them out today. So this is live radio, as it always has been. And we're glad to be back. We're glad that you're here. And we look forward to 2.0, and that's what today's program is going to be about. We're calling it Relaunch 2.0 Onward, as we are back after we had launched in January of this year, and we did over 100 episodes. We think we did pretty well. We liked what was going on. We loved our guests. We loved our listeners, our fans, our sponsors, everything else. Putting all of that together was really wonderful. But after a period of time, well, it was time to take a break, and I'm going to be going into that because if you're going to trust us to bring you real news, to be real journalists, to be transparent, to talk about everything, well, then we have to be willing to also talk about ourselves. And honestly, doing a grassroots program here, it's sort of rare. I mean, we know what the media mostly has become. Really is either on the broadcast side, it's sort of bought and paid for in a lot of ways, and we can't have that in a free society. We need journalists, we need the media to do its job in order to use the First Amendment and to encourage us to do so and to protect it. We need to exercise rights, right? In order to keep them, in order to use them, we need to do them. But the media, for the most part these days, is not doing that. And so this vision for the Peak, not just being a program that would come and be hyper-local, not just one that would tell the truth to you, but one that would be grassroots and would include everybody and who wants to. And we invite you to, here at the Peak, to be part of what we are doing here. The Peak is a grassroots organization, so our journalists / interns that we have, and interns, our local business sponsors, our local guests, talking about local information, as we say, local news told by local citizens, supported by local businesses, is a vision that came to me a few years ago. And I said, I think we can do this. And we tried. We made a go at it. And now we're making a go at it again. And I have a lot of thanks to go around for all of those who helped put us on the air in the first place and who helped bring us back on the air. Thank you for putting the Watchman, me, back on the air. God help us. But this time around, we've learned a lot. And so we're going to do things differently. And that's what this program is about today, is about where we've been, where we're going, how you can be part of it, and why this is so important. Those of you who understand how far the media has fallen and haven't checked out, interested in what we're doing. And I thank all of you who've come around, whether you're listeners, fans, or sponsors, or you've been on the program. What we're going to do next is going to rock this town. And that's why, from the beginning, we've had the Stray Cats and we've had that music as our starting music. So, I want to thank all of our sponsors, and you'll be hearing their commercials throughout the program today, and we're getting more, and we would like more, and if you're a local business or organization, we would invite you to become a sponsor. But our platinum sponsor, Springs Dentist, and Dr. Craig Summer, Holistic Dentistry in Colorado Springs, they, as our platinum sponsor, are actually our title sponsors for the whole program. And we ask you to, they're great friends from the very beginning. When I came up with this idea a couple years ago and brought it to them, who are our dentists and also friends, and they said, we're in. Like, let's get this, let's do it. And they've been faithful throughout, and especially during this past couple of months when we were off the air. It's been great to have friends, people who stick with you when times get tough. And so thank you to Dr. Craig Summer and the whole team, and also to just everybody who's been supporting us throughout this whole thing. So we are on Facebook right now. We're streaming on Facebook. Probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. I had it here on my script, but too far down. Facebook.com, The Peak News Media, The Peak News Media, and you can join. I have a face for radio, and so it may be best. But these days, you got to be streaming, and so we're doing that. And I want to announce that on Facebook, we are starting a contest. The pothole contest, the Peak News pothole contest, and we invite you to go on our Facebook page and take pictures of your, I don't want to say your favorite potholes, the potholes that plague you, and go on there. We have a post. You can comment on it and post pictures, and I'll be talking about this a little bit later, why we're doing this, and that it's a contest, so there will be prizes. Well, The Peak, it's back with 2.0. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. When we come back, well, I'm gonna give you a little insight. I'm gonna do some news on The Peak. What happened to us? Where did we go? And what did we learn? Thanks so much for listening. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. So happy to be back as we begin our second season of The Peak, Peak 2.0. Hope you noticed that we haven't been around for 2 months, but that you were checking out our podcast, because we did more than 100 shows before we took our break. And you can go to thepeak.news, that's our website, thepeak.news, for everything to do with The Peak, and going to be covering a lot of that on today's program. Check out our over 100 podcasts. We had great guests, and again, we're just getting started. The Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud, and this time we're going to say it even louder. So, what happened to The Peak? You know, I was hoping that I'd get the chance to tell you, because when we decided that it was time to take a break, and that was in mid-July, and we finished up July and then went on break, and what was supposed to be about 5 weeks turned into 8 weeks, was that after doing over 100 programs, 4 days a week. It's a lot of work. It burns you out. But we tapped out. I mean, that's just to be honest with you. I tapped out, and there were a lot of reasons for that. It wasn't exhaustion. I can keep going. I'm pretty good at that. At just keep going. I have a lot of projects going on. I'm a highly motivated person. I'm a little bit obsessive and crazy in getting stuff done. But during that time that we were doing that, as far as the business model of what we had worked out here, that was not dialed in as well as it should be. The resources, the internship program and the citizen journalist program, the things that we had envisioned that would carry the program, we didn't get them in place, and I take responsibility for that. I'm the executive producer of the program. And so what happened was, when we launched back in January, and it was like, let's do it. You know, we got enough together to do it. There was a plan. And as you know, you got to plan your work, and then you have to work your plan. You can't just have a plan. You actually have to do the plan. And so when I got in here and started doing the program day in and day out, and my number one thing, of course, was to do a great program. And I think that we did, on a consistent basis, a very good program. I think we had some great programs, considering what we're doing here, an hour of live every day, and it's a news program. It was quite ambitious. But after getting all of the basics together, the plan of getting enough sponsors, which takes time, we hoped that just being on the air, that they would be beating down the doors to come in. But that's not how things work in advertising and radio advertising. You actually have to go out, you have to talk with people, you have to invite them to join. People just don't, I don't know what it is. I figured if I just got on the microphone and did enough job, there'd just be people that would be flocking in here to pay the bills and be sponsors, and some did. I mean, we did. It wasn't a complete zero, but not enough, because I didn't work that side of it. And then we launched without the citizen journalist and the intern, so we came up with ways of building the content. But when you're in the midst of something every day, it's hard to build it out. And so overall what happened during that time is we just ran out, we tapped out. And so I came to Salem Media here, Salem News, which has this station, and then the two other stations here in Colorado Springs, where I work. This radio program is a separate project, but I work here at Salem, and I went and I said, I'm tapped out, what can we do here? And they said, well, we love the program, but bottom line is you're buying the time, you got to pay the bills, it is a business after all. But they said, you know what, it's quite common for programs that are on, especially so many days a week, to take a break in the summer. It's quite common that, we all know in putting businesses together, putting anything together, sometimes it's best to pull back. Now, you don't want to do that in radio and media and you're building, and it's like you don't want to go off the air. But sometimes it's smarter to do that. And it was very hard for me to make that decision, but I had to. It was a responsible thing to do. It was the only thing to do because we needed to put these things in place. And so we decided that we would take the time off, and Salem was very gracious with that. And so here we are, back. And we have put the sponsors in place, but I'll let you know, we need more. And so if you know people, patriotic businesses, and we're going to be talking about that, what it's going to take to do that, and the type of businesses, the type of organizations, the people who have come alongside this get what we're doing. And if that's you, and I hope it is, because we all need to wake up to what the media should be doing and what it isn't, and that we do need to change it. And that's what we're trying to do here, is change it in our region, and then who knows, might go farther. But we're going to fix our hometown first. We need that. We still need more interns and more citizen journalists and more, because we envision an organization that will really be a very large news organization, grassroots news organization here across the entire Pikes Peak region, saying the quiet stuff out loud in every single realm. And in order to do that, we need all of these things. But we're back, and we're raring to go, and we're going to be putting in things that I'll talk about in the next segment. What is it going to take to do a citizen journalist organization here in order to serve all of us, to serve this community? But what are the lessons that I learned during this time? Because you learn more from your mistakes, from your failures, from your shortcomings, because success tends to be like, wow, everything's great. But when things fall apart, you have a lot of introspection. And I did that. So it caused me to have to dig deep and go, my God, what did I do? I was on the air. I was, 4 days a week. I was speaking to the people. This was really powerful. But you messed up, Chaim. You didn't work the plan. You had one, you didn't work it. And so, there was a lot of time with me and my family and my sponsors and my friends saying, we got to get this back on the air. How can we do this? And of course, going before God and saying, please do this. Please get me back. And I promise I won't make these mistakes again, because the honor of getting to be on the air, getting to speak to you, getting to serve this community, and not that, what it does, and not just me, that I'm trying to actually, as you saw, bringing in our very last week, we had guest hosts, and I want them to be regular hosts. I want lots of people on here. I want to decrease from this and put on as many people and voices out there as possible. That's what this is about, being a We the People station. So it was so important for me. I felt like I failed you. I felt like I failed this community. And so I'm so thankful to be back on the air, and just a big thanks to everybody. As I said, doing a great show is not enough. If we don't do a great show, who cares about the marketing and this and that? Who cares, right? So that was important, but it's not enough. We need to work the plan. What I really found out is that family sticks with you. It was, going back to my family and saying, what do you think? And we need to dig deep, and we needed to, as a whole family, to do that. And so a shout out to my wife and all of my children for thank you. Thank you for doing this. I couldn't have done this without you, mostly your support and love and moral and getting behind me and morale, not morale, and loving me and doing that, but also real friends. Thank you to all of the friends who came around me to help, to encourage me, our sponsors to stick with us during this whole period of time. And I realized that it's going to take a community. It can't just be me. I always knew that, but I tried, and it didn't work. And so thank you to everybody who's been part of this community during this period of time. We've built up more citizen journalists. We're talking to more interns, and we have some here that are already starting to work. We have more sponsors. But more than anything else, we need you as listeners telling people about this and then joining in with what we're doing. For us, just like anything, to take the media back, what it's going to take is the community. We the people are the government. We the people are everything. And if we don't take responsibility and we think that someone else is taking care of it, well, look around, folks. The way that they are taking care of it, I don't think most of us like. No matter where you are on the political spectrum or anything else, I don't think people think that this is a great America so much anymore. But in order for it to be better, it's going to take all of us. And so when we come back, I'm going to talk about what it's going to take to have grassroots media take root. Hey, I like that connection. Take root here in the Pikes Peak region. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. First day, second season. So happy to have you here on the Peak. Please check out thepeak.news for everything the Peak, and join us, because we're going to be presenting a lot of opportunities, because we can't do community journalism and community news without a community. That would seem obvious, although, as I admitted in the last segment, I tried for a while, and it lasted for quite a while. We made a really good run. I would say 6 months on the air, 6 months plus on the air is a really good run, 100 plus programs, but it's always been about the community. And so it's, in a way, it's good that it didn't work out. And honestly, in some ways it was good to have a break. Although I did miss being here, and hope that you missed it too. So would we lie to you? No. If you're listening on the live stream, we have music that we're not allowed to put on the live stream because it's on broadcast radio. We can do copyrighted music and things like that. So the Eurythmics, Would I Lie to You? We've had that on the program since the beginning. In a way, because that seems to be what the media is doing, maybe overtly, but generally by omission, and that's what we need to stop. We need to be asking the good questions. We need to be willing to push and press into the proper answers and get that to you, so that you're not to be indoctrinated. We're not here to tell you what to think. We're not here to manipulate you or push the media and allow that to be what we're supposed to be doing. It's our sacred service that we're supposed to be doing. So, grassroots media, what's it going to take? Well, we're figuring that out. It's a work in progress. We know some things. We're trying out some other things, but I wanted to outline it here for you today. First of all, we need to understand how important it is to have grassroots media. Now, podcasts are great, and we're inviting podcasters, and if you're a podcaster, we'd love you to be a content producer here. You give us some content, we'll push people to your podcast. You're the people that are already telling stories, but that in this world of hundreds of thousands of podcasts, it's hard to differentiate. So being on the air, actually being broadcast across the region as we are, from south of Denver to south of Pueblo, up into the mountains across the Front Range, it's real broadcast, and it's out there, and people driving up and down the highway and tuning in, listening in, and on the stream, and now on social media that we're putting it out there. But it's important that broadcast media has this element, that it's not just owned by these huge corporations with agendas, and media has gone to some dark places. And if you watch the debate, if you weren't convinced before, if you watch the Trump and you saw what the supposed moderators did, you recognize that the media in a lot of ways just doesn't care anymore. It's so in your face that they're there to push a specific agenda, that we need to know how important this is. Also, how important it was, I like to ask, especially business owners, where was the media during COVID, when they were shutting down your business or limiting your occupancy or telling you or your employees you needed to take the jab or whatever? Where was the media standing up for your business, for your family? How about just your basic constitutional rights? It's important, but it seems those questions weren't being asked. They certainly weren't being answered in any mainstream media, local or national, and that is a problem, because the media is here that's supposed to represent us in our community and in ways defend us. So, what is it going to take to do this? A willingness to not give up even when it seems impossible. I had to dig deep. Believe me, during the past couple months, like, is this going to happen? You got to do something else. I don't want to do something else. This is what I feel called to do. But we all need to step up in some kind of way, even when it seems impossible, even when it seems that there's so many problems. How could we ever solve them? We need to not give up. And we need to understand that we, the people, believe this, know it, and act on it, are responsible for everything. No one's here looking out for you, except me. We're looking out for you. We need to step up, and we all need to do it together. We can't just expect that someone else is doing it. Look what's happened while we've been doing that. So we need to build teams. We need to come together. We need to work within our within our interests and our talents, the things that we share, the things that we bring that are very special to the table. And more than anything, we need to get involved and do something. And if you would like to do something with the Peak, we'd love to have you. Go to thepeak.news for more. And I'm going to finish the program with this today. We all need to do something, especially in this election season when so much is at stake, seems at stake. We all need to step up and do something. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. When we come back, what will it take? What will it take? We will continue. What will it take to have citizen journalists in the Pikes Peak region? Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. Welcome to, well, the second half hour of our first program back. After our hiatus, we're back with the Peak 2.0, season number 2, and so happy to have you here. And if you want to watch us on Facebook, well, our Facebook page, facebook.com, of course, The Peak News Media, The Peak News Media, and you can watch us here if you like. And we have launched today, as we launch 2.0, a pothole contest. What do we mean by that? We want you to take a photo. I don't want to say of your favorite pothole, but maybe the most infamous potholes in your neighborhood. And we want you to post them. We have a post up there with the contest. And every week we're going to be giving away, including, well, we have, and if you're watching on Facebook, we have these first one, these Peak coffee mugs, and we're going to invite you to come down to the station and watch us do the Peak live. Or if you want to, you can come on the air with us. You can do that. We want to do that once a week. We want to bring you in, give you some nice coffee in your Peak coffee cup, and have you take part in what's going on down here. So go to facebook.com and the Peak News Media for all of that and the streaming. And tomorrow we hope to be streaming on YouTube also. This is great. This is great. Thank you, Zach, and all the others who are working to put all this infrastructure in place that I couldn't do myself. And I really do thank my son Zach. Graduated high school in the spring, and I said, Zach, I need you. Can you come and be an intern here and theoretically pay you? And we've been trying to do that as part of this. But Zach has been with us since the end of May. Been doing a wonderful job. It's great to have your children working with you. I would think Zach would say it's really tough to work for your dad, especially someone like me, and I know that, and I thank him. But so much of what we put in place before we went off the air, and definitely during the past couple of months while we were scrambling to get back on, has been so much Zach, as well as everybody here at Salem, and James, our original intern, who's now working here at Salem as well as interning, and Jim and Rachel Stovall, Jim Miller, Rachel Stovall, Jordan Baldwin, who will be on the program tomorrow, and everybody. It's like, at the Oscars, I can't thank everybody, but thank you to everybody that put us back on the air. So now we're back on the air, and we are. We were able to do that. Thank you to our sponsors. We're able to do that and get back here. So what will it take? Peak 2.0, what will it take to stay on the air? Obviously, that's my focus now after getting back on, because we want saying the quiet stuff out loud. This time, saying it even louder. So let me tell you what I'm seeing right now. First of all, yes, I do call myself the Watchman. What does that mean? If you don't know that biblical reference, it's in Ezekiel, it's in other places in the Bible, and it talks about the importance of a watchman. And certainly when you have a city, and in ancient days, but now we have it. It's really the media. the job that it's supposed to be, is we're supposed to be paying attention to what's going on, and when we see problems, and we're supposed to highlight the good stuff too, but in the watch, when we see war coming, as it says literally, we're supposed to blow the trumpet, blow the shofar, and warn the people. And if you warn the people and they don't listen, well, the blood's off your hands. But if you don't warn the people and destruction comes, the blood is on your hands. And so I believe, all of us who are called to this, but I believe everybody, that we need to, as a community, we need to be watching out for problems, and we need to be calling them out, and we need to take that very seriously. And so I would say we need lots more watchmen and watchwomen and watch children and watch older people and watch whatever. We need a lot of watchers, and that's what the peak news is set up to be. Think about in this region where we have almost 500,000 people in the city, 850,000 or so in the county, and across our broadcast area, close to 2 million people. What if 100 people would part-time tell stories here on the Peak, on the radio show, on our website, video, audio, writing? What if we had people that were trained, because you don't just get to, there's going to be a level of training, ethical journalism, and how to do your job, and we need that. We can't, we don't want people who are trained in journalism that serve governmental and corporate interests and don't serve the people. And we also don't want amateurs, complete amateurs trying to do this, because it's a skill. I mean, I went to college for it. I've been working on it for decades. It is a skill. But, with some basics, you can get up and running and practice it within those rules, within those structures of doing proper journalism. So what if we had 100 people that were out there going to school board meetings and city council meetings and looking at businesses and looking at education and looking at what's going on in the faith community and on and on and on, that we're out there, what we're passionately called to, each individual person with a place to put it. What would happen in our city as far as accountability, as far as transparency, as far as even the media itself going, hey, we need to do better here. And we need to spend more time telling these stories that aren't being told, because I got to tell you, there's a lot of stories to tell here that aren't being told, and you know that because you're not getting answers to these very basic questions, and there's so many questions. So what would happen if we had lots and lots and lots of watchmen, watchwomen, watch children, watch people out there in the community? How amazing would that be? And how quickly could we shine lights everywhere in our community and make it so much better? Well, of course, we need listeners and fans, and that's where you come in. So keep listening, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Thursday, here on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, where we air here. Tell people about us. Tell people about our website, about our podcast. Go on Facebook and share today's program and put it around. Help us to reach more people, to more listeners, more fans. Of course, more citizen journalists. We're talking about more watchmen, but also investigative journalism. And we're doing that tomorrow. We're going to have Jordan Baldwin, our investigative journalist #1 from First Amendment Media, who's really is now heading up our investigative journalism division, because we need to bring news. We've been taking news from others and commenting on it, and that's how we got started. But really, the goal is that we're reporting, and so we got together about a month ago and a few weeks ago, and made a big list. And it seemed like we were getting back on the air, a list of all the stories that we want to tell, and wow, it's massive. And we're going to be bringing that to you piece by piece. And join our program tomorrow as we have Jordan Baldwin on, and we're going to be touching on those. So again, not just the light, airy stuff like what restaurants are opening up next, which seem to be the top of the news here. No, actually dealing with real issues, the stuff that actually impacts our lives in a big way. Sponsors, yes, that's right. We need more Peak Partner sponsors. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you come alongside us, that you believe in what we do, that you pay the bills, but you're also involved. Everybody is invited to, but definitely those who pay the bills, they very much, when they say we'd like you to investigate in these areas, we want to do that. And I want to be very transparent with you. Here's the difference. They don't control. The sponsors can point us in a direction. Certainly, if that's what's on their heart and they're putting their skin in the game, Absolutely. All of you are invited to do that, but definitely those who show up as sponsors. But once we start doing that, and what we find out and what we report has nothing to do with the business side of this. It can't. That's what happened. That's what ruined media in the United States over time, going from yellow journalism of just trying to be sensational to make more money and sell more ads. But eventually, when it was realized that the money was controlling the editorial side, well then, over time, corporations started dictating the narrative, and then people with agendas, political agendas, social agendas, took over those big corporations. And now, what do we have? What do we have? For the most part, you can see that. You can see the things that get talked about and the things that don't get talked about are very much serving governmental and corporate interests in a big way, and that can't be. There needs to be a solid firewall between the business department and the editorial department, and we have one here. I stand on that. But we would love you to come if you believe in what we're doing. You understand that if we don't have proper journalism and accountability in this region, that you're not being represented. Again, I asked before, what happened during COVID with your business? Did the media represent you properly? Did it represent your family? Did it represent your rights? I think we all know the answer to that question. The answer is no, for the most part. Not to every organization, not to every reporter, but for the most part, no. And so if you understand that for you to be free to run your business, that we need this media here, then please come alongside us, become a Peak Partner sponsor, go to the peak.news, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. And then, to build the ecosystem, the Peak News Educational Foundation, we've started that. You can go on our website, thepeak.news/foundation, and we have a great board. We're moving toward getting grants and doing a journalistic ethics and media vocational training program where we will take high school students originally in the Pikes Peak region, and then moving into college and teach these people, these young people, how to be proper journalists, how to do this job, and then plug them into an internship here at the radio station. And so this is part of building out an ecosystem of integrous journalists in order to serve our region and beyond, because they'll, some of them might move away and do more. And this is how we really take it back, county by county, and we have a vision that once we do it here, we're going to export it and go out. And then the rest is what I would say, building the tabernacle. We had so many people along the way as I was talking to people about being part that said, you know what, I can help you with this. I can help you with social media. I can help you with that level of market. I can come along. What if I brought my gifts and talents? And I said, absolutely. You know that analogy of, Moses calling everybody to build the tabernacle. We're really asking whatever you got, whatever you'd like to bring to this mix, and help us out here in the media. We invite you to do so. So go to the peak.news, and we have lots of contact form there. Identify yourself, and we will be reaching out to you soon. When we come back, I'm going to challenge you, regardless, to do something and how to pick your lane. And of course, Jim Miller in the Peak Rants is back. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Peak. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, conservative news talk, intelligent news talk across the entire Pikes Peak region. And we are the only local program on every day during the week. We have great national hosts throughout the week, but this is where you get your hyper-local news talk. And we're going to be spending this week, laying the foundation, bringing on the people who've joined us over, during season 1, who are now coming back with season 2, and they're doing something. They're making it happen. And so this is our sort of coming back on week, our launch week, and then we'll let you know what we're going into. It's going to be election oriented in a lot of ways, but in peak style, and the way that we do things, very diverse. But obviously this month of October leading up to Election Day on November 5th is a big deal, and we need to be covering that in our region in a big way. So, do something. This is something that, for a lot of years, no matter what I've been involved in, always try to motivate people to get up, to do something, to join. And those of you who've started anything know that can be difficult. But I would hope that in this age that we're in this country, in this world, where you see so many things that are troubling, that you would finally, if you haven't already, get off your keister, your tush, your backside, and do something. Now, if you're interested in doing it anywhere in the realm of media, from a technical standpoint, from a reporter standpoint, whatever, like the Peak, we have so many things to do here. You could even help us do grant writing so that we can fund this educational foundation, Peak News Educational Foundation, as I mentioned before, to help local youth break into media and have an ethical background. We can use you in this realm, but I just ask you to do something. Like, don't sit back, don't check out. What I say is pick a lane. I've been talking to people recently that are still this close to, like, I want to do something, but I'm not sure. It could be this. I'm like, you know what? We're so close to the election. You got to do something. And so this curse of indecision or decision paralysis that you just can't make up your mind, or there seeming to be too many choices. You got to get over it, because you're completely ineffective, and we can't deal with that. You know, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. You know, you got to pick a lane. And if you've ever been driving behind someone that can't seem to pick their lane, you know, it's very nerve-wracking to watch that. What are they going to be in my lane next? Are they going to come over? Like, what's going on? And this is what happens. You're really no good to anybody, and you're actually messing up the rest of the drivers. So, options. What are your options for doing something, especially with the election so close? But, you know, if you're not into anything that has to do with the election, you know, I don't know. You got to pick something. But what are your options? What I would say is you have to pick a realm. You know, what are you interested in? Is it in the faith realm? Is it in education? Is it in business? You know, is it in arts and entertainment? Whatever it is, you know, that's probably something that you, unless you're really young and you know haven't had a career, that you have skills, you have talents, you have interest. You know, do that, because especially when you're volunteering for something, you got to, that motivation has to come. It's not from a paycheck. It's coming from deep. It's coming from something you just got to get out there. So you have to do that. But then you can't just be there, because then there's a lot of indecision. You don't know what to do. So you need to pick a subcategory, like within that, and then find a group or organization that's already doing it. Don't start something else. Now, I know that's very hypocritical for me, because I tend to start things, but it's like a disease here in Colorado Springs. You come up with an idea, you don't even check to see if anybody else is doing it. You got to start your own nonprofit or whatever. I looked around. Everything that I've ever started, I looked around. I did. Nobody else was doing it. If they had been, I swear to you, I would have done it. I would have joined them. I like joining. I like other people. I like helping. I like bringing people on the air and other voices. But don't start something new anyway. There's not time. And also what happens is the weight is off your shoulders, because you're adding to something that's going on. The organization isn't completely dependent on you, but it is dependent on you. And then find a way to work in that organization within your passions, your gifts. It needs to be sustainable. You need to be sustainable. You need to keep going. But you're also going to do some work that you're not going to like so much. And here's the deal. Like, I have church voter guides. We had 20 people that volunteered at different over the past few weeks to help us call churches, and like 75% of them didn't do anything. They quit. They didn't show up. They didn't anything. Don't do that to other organizations. Pick your lane, stay in it, do something powerful. And now someone who always speaks his mind, who's completely transparent. Jim Miller is back, just a guy in the Peak Rants. This is Jim Miller in the Peak Rants, which we have to figure out how to get that to you on the Facebook, but we can. It's recorded. Well. Season 2, Show 1, coming to a close. Thank you so much for greeting us as we come back on the air. News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, inviting you to be a Watchman. Us in some way. This is grassroots, this is community journalism, this is how we're doing it. And I want to thank our platinum sponsors, Springs Dentist and Dr. Craig Summer, Holistic Dentistry in Colorado Springs, for being with us way before we ever launched, and being such a great support and encouragement, and such a great dentist for our family throughout everything. Thank you to Salem Media, thank you to Matt West, our producer. Thank you to Jim Miller and Jordan Baldwin and Zach Goldman and our new intern Audra. We're going to get to meet on Wednesday. I'm sure I'm not mentioning some. Those are the key people. And Rachel Stovall for believing in this, putting it on the air, and bringing it back on. We air Monday through Thursday. So we will be back tomorrow. Same peak time, same peak channel, 3 p.m. on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer. Tomorrow we have Jordan Baldwin talking about our vision for investigative journalism. reporting on real stuff here across the region. Wednesday is going to be Intern and Citizen Journalist Day with James, Zach, and Audra. And then on Thursday, we'll finish up, as we finish every show, we'll finish the week with Jim Miller, and we have no idea how that's going to turn out. So you have to tune in, putting Jim on for a whole hour. Please consider becoming a sponsor, putting gas in the tank here and helping us do what we do. Go to the pothole contest on Facebook.com, the Peak News Media at Facebook.com. Put in a photo of your favorite pothole or least favorite pothole, and we have a contest to give things away. Now stay tuned for the Larry Elder Show coming up next here on The Answer. And until tomorrow, check out our over 100 podcasts on thepeak.news. The Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud, and this time with 2.0, we're saying it louder. We're really glad to be back. The best is yet to come for such a time as this. Shalom.